My guest today is Travis Dutka. He's Culture Curator at 360 Insights. I'm your host, Mark Franklin from Career Cycles. Travis, thanks for joining us here on the interview.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I know you talked about mentoring in your session today, but you started off by telling a little bit about the engagement survey and what you guys found, especially as it related to empowerment, that eventually led you to the mentoring program. But what did you find in that survey?
Some of the results that we had a great feedback on our survey, but one big area is we had 31% of our team identifying that they didn't feel like we were empowering them in their career development at our organization.
All right, so there's an opportunity for you to do something, for you to respond with program services, something. So what did you come up with?
Totally. I mean, so we started kind of the basics of career mapping and starting to put those things in place, and we're still doing that. But one of the ones that we thought would be a really worthwhile investment would be mentoring. Because it is relatively low cost, low barrier to entry, and something that you can get everyone involved in relatively easily. But we found out it took a little bit more effort and planning than we realized when we launched it.
I loved your comparison, how mentoring is like an AeroPress in 15 seconds. Wow. What is it about that cappuccino maker that is similar to mentoring?
So an AeroPress espresso maker is a very simple, it looks like a plunger, and it makes a delicious cup of espresso. And what I love about it is it's cheap. It's $40, and it makes a delicious espresso, and most machines are like $1,200. And it's very simple to use. So you don't have to be an expert barista to make a good espresso. The challenge, the caveat, is that it actually takes a little bit extra work than just dropping your Folgers into your coffee maker and letting it do the work for you. So you got to put the extra effort in, but the benefit is there.
And that's like mentoring.
Totally.
Right?
Yep. Takes a little bit extra effort. It's simple and it's free. And it's available to all of us, but it takes that extra effort to really make a successful program, especially in an organization.
Now, you mentioned from the mentoring point of view, and one of the things you were trying to address was this notion of flight risk. So can you say a little bit of what does that mean, and how is mentoring meant to counter that?
Totally. Well, people want to grow. People want to progress in their careers, and we can't always promote everyone. We can't always send them away to expensive seminars. But one thing that we can do is have someone who's been there, done that, spend time with them. And that helps nurture relationships within the organization and helps that person, the mentee, grow. And also, if you've been in an organization for a long time and you are the expert, you're really good, if you're not sharing that with someone, like, it feels so good to tell someone what you know. You feel like a superhero. And so both of those parties, the mentee and the mentor, are both receiving intrinsic value from sharing and growing. And there's a less chance that they're going to leave the organization to go somewhere else if they're not feeling like they're growing.
So I know, one of the interesting angles on your talk was things that work, things that don't work. And you were brave enough to get up in front of a whole group of audience of people there and say, this didn't work. It sounds like it kind of worked, but it could have been better. What were the lessons learned from your implementation of the mentoring program?
Totally. I think we rolled it out with a little less planning than could have gone into it. We realized that we really didn't train the mentors or give them guidelines, kind of a framework to succeed as a mentor. And we didn't help set the expectations of the mentee either. Like, what are you getting out of it? What do you put into it? What do you get out of it? So there was really mixed results. We also didn't have the full support that we could have as an organization from the leadership team and the resources, maybe marketing, promoting it. So it fizzled off because we didn't bake it into our culture. It was something that was an idea that we pushed forward. It wasn't a complete failure. Relationships were made, knowledge was passed along, and people benefited, but it's not a sustainable program that we could scale within the organization. We have to do a reset on it and take what we learned and do it again.
Right. It takes a bit of work, like that AeroPress.
Totally.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. And last question, just thinking about what mentoring has the potential to do and thinking about people in the workplace trying to navigate their own careers within a workplace and what am I going to do next? You mentioned earlier in the interview today about career or job mapping.
Yep.
So how can mentoring, or what was your expectation that mentoring can support career development within the organization?
Well, more formally, a mentor can help you kind of show you the ropes of where you can go, what are the different options as you grow if you have a kind of a more senior mentoring someone who's more junior. But the other thing I'd say is to individually own it. If your organization doesn't have a mentoring program, you should always be a mentor to somebody, and you should always have multiple mentors. So I have multiple mentors in my life for being a dad, being a husband, being an HR professional. And I seek out people intentionally, and I just glean whatever I can from them. And then I have more formal mentor relationships where I meet with them and we go through a book, or they're challenging me in different areas. But it can be very formal or informal, and that's what's going to push you and help you grow, because you can learn so much from other people than you can on your own.
I love the idea of informally creating your own mentor team. If listeners want to pick up a tip or two from you, because you've been there, done that, how do you approach somebody? Do you use the word mentor? Hey, would you be my parenting mentor? Would you be my workplace mentor? If you're doing it informally, how do you approach somebody? What do you say?
I usually don't use the term mentor. I usually be like, hey, could I grab a coffee? I'd like to pick your brain. Because it starts with a relationship. But getting to know someone, see if you actually like them. Like sometimes maybe you meet someone at a conference or you read some of their material. Spend some time, see if you guys connect, and then keep asking them questions. And then as it progresses, set up a little bit more formal where you're meeting on a bi-monthly or semi-annual basis and develop that. People like sharing. They like being the expert. So when you ask them questions, typically people like to share.
Nice. Travis Dutka, thanks so much for joining us here on The Interview. I'm Mark Franklin, host of Career Buzz and with Career Cycles. Thank you.
Thank you.